Is Saddam Hussein alive? Is recent news about Saddam Hussein true? The former dictator of Iraq, Saddam Hussein, was regarded as a genuine leader by a significant number of Arabs because he stood up to Western imperialism, the Israeli occupation of Palestine, and foreign meddling in the region. However, Saddam was a dictator in the eyes of the majority of Iraqis. His reign, which lasted from 1979 until 2003, was characterized by violent authoritarianism, repression, and injustices, particularly against the Shia and Kurdish populations which were located within the country. According to Mamoun al-Abbasi, an independent political analyst, Saddam's popularity in the area was further strengthened by the First Gulf War, which was fought between Iraq and Iran. This war made Saddam stand out for fighting foreign intervention by Iran, while other Arab presidents were perceived as stooges installed by Western powers. However, in contrast to the Iran-Iraq War, in which many Arabs supported Saddam to deter what they perceived to be an external danger, Arabs did not support Saddam's invasion of Kuwait in 1990, which was a state that was also an Arab state. Had it not been for his disastrous decision to invade Kuwait, Saddam Hussein would have remained a national hero in the eyes of most Arabs, said former Iraqi Brigadier General Sobi Tawfiq in an interview with Al Jazeera. Without the harsh sanctions and blockade imposed by the United Nations, Iraq would have been spared the damage and poverty that resulted from the situation. Iraqi citizens were left starving and unable to obtain medicine and other necessities as a result of an embargo that was imposed by the United Nations on Iraq in reaction to Baghdad's invasion of Kuwait. On the other hand, Saddam's reluctance to back down elevated him to a position of glory in the eyes of Arabs, even while Iraqis suffered amid the siege. As a result of the invasion of Iraq by the United States in 2003, Saddam Hussein's execution in 2006 on the day of Eid al-Adha, the subsequent multi-layered decline of the country, and the outbreak of sectarian violence, political instability, and rampant corruption under American occupation, many wrongs committed by the Iraqi dictator have been erased from Arab memory. According to a report that was published this week in the New York Times newspaper, intelligence specialists from the United States think that Saddam Hussein is still alive and hiding someplace in Iraq. However, United States forces on the ground in Iraq are increasing their search for the deposed Iraqi leader, his two sons, and their close allies. The White House has stated that it simply does not know, but the search is growing. Many Iraqis are tremendously concerned about Saddam Hussein's whereabouts and fate, and they are curious about his location. There was a time when Saddam's image was shown on enormous murals that were placed along streets and highways, and pictures of him were displayed in every office and public building. They are no longer present, or they have been vandalized or covered with paint. Several statues depicting him have been removed. Nevertheless, Saddam Hussein, who was once everywhere, continues to be a prominent figure in the thoughts of Iraqis. During the conflict, there were claims that Saddam and maybe his two sons have been fatally injured or killed by missiles that were specifically targeted, but there has never been a single sign of them discovered. On the other hand, there were speculations that he had fled to Syria, which is located nearby. Intelligence specialists have been quoted by the New York Times as suggesting that recent evidence obtained from interactions among some of his supporters suggests that the former Iraqi leader who was removed from power may very well be alive and hiding within the nation. There are a lot of Iraqis who think he is still alive. Jafar, who is 32 years old and wishes to be referred to only by his first name, is a vendor who sells fruits and vegetables on the side of the road in Baghdad. Yes, of course, he's still alive, the man replied. There is a possibility that he is still in Baghdad and that he is alive. I am certain that he is still alive in Baghdad. There are a lot of Iraqis, including Jafar, who get anxious when they think of Saddam Hussein still being in the nation. They are concerned that he would attempt to reclaim power with members of his Ba'ath Party group in some way. According to Jafar, during that time, he will undoubtedly exact his vengeance upon the Iraqi people. At a press conference held earlier this week in Baghdad, Ambassador Paul Bremer, who is the chief civil administrator for the United States in Iraq, stated that he is aware of these concerns. The fact that we have not been able to prove that he's dead or capture him alive is an intimidating factor to some people in this country, added the politician. It intimidates people into saying we don't want to cooperate because we think the Baathists may come back. Baghdad-based military officials from the United States of America attribute the current rise in attacks against American soldiers and Iraqis who are collaborating with them to Saddam supporters who are still in existence. These armed elements have been the target of increased military actions, which have been pushed up. The authorities are holding out hope that the arrest of Saddam's secretary and bodyguard, Abid Hamid Mahmoud, which took place this week, may point them in the direction of the deposed Iraqi leader. Unbelievably, Saddam Hussein, who served as the previous president of Iraq, is still alive today, according to a video that was recently shared on social media platforms that are in Arabic. The video purports to depict an interview with Hussein. This allegation, on the other hand, is disproved following the editing of the footage, which involved the utilization of sophisticated techniques for audio manipulation. This controversial film may be traced back to an interview that took place in 2003, where the source information was taken from. The voice that is attributed to the former president in the changed tape is noticeably different from his original vocal tone and accent, which immediately raises concerns about the legitimacy of the video. The following statement was made in a social media comment that was intended to provoke. "This is the evidence that Saddam Hussein is alive in 2024. You should get ready to be amazed." The video was met with a range of responses from social media users, while others regarded it with a degree of skepticism, making amusing observations about the use of artificial intelligence in its alteration, and the fact that Saddam Hussein's appearance had remained the same over the years. Some took the assertion at its value. This latter group is in agreement with the minority but enduring conviction that Saddam Hussein averted execution in 2003 and instead chose to live a life that was shrouded in mystery. It's possible to determine the sources of the video by looking at it more closely. Following a thorough investigation using a variety of search engines, its segments have been traced back to an interview that was carried out on February 4, 2003, and shown on Channel 4 in the United Kingdom. With the noteworthy exception of Saddam Hussein's voice, the actual interview, which can be verified, is relatively consistent with the content of the video that has gone viral. He discusses a variety of issues in the original tape, including Al-Qaeda, weapons of mass destruction in the north, and the purported connections between his administration and the terrorist organization. Even 20 years after the fall of his dictatorship, Saddam Hussein, the former president of Iraq, continues to be loved and popular in Jordan, where his picture can still be found all across the country. Even though symbols and images linked with his authority are prohibited in Iraq itself, the instantly recognizable visage may be seen on a variety of items in Jordan, ranging from bumper stickers to mobile phone cases. Did you like it? Tell us what you think of the video in the comments section below, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more interesting videos.